We're here at Churchill Way Flyover in Liverpool, which has been closed for 6 weeks while urgent safety checks take place. They're almost at an end now, so we spoke to Steve Threlfall and Mark Bennett of Friends of the Flyover and Cabinet Member Councillor James Noakes to find out more about what's been going on.
What you see behind us here is them reinstating some of the carriageway after they've done some intrusive tests both from above and from underneath. It, depending on what the investigations have told us, really governs what we can do. If it comes back and says this is a terribly dangerous structure that we need to take very quick action on, then clearly we're going to have to do that. But if it says there's various different options open to us, then we have to make a decision about what we do with the future of the flyovers. The mayor's been quite clear that he feels that it's likely that it will do, and that is from those initial investigations that were undertaken, which show some real concern about the structure itself and the load that it could take. We're really concerned about the amount of concrete that was in the structure from the beginning, which means that it's carrying a bigger load than it should do, which in turn governs the kind of traffic that you can put on top of it. You can't just knock these things down because they're under tension, and that could be really dangerous. They have to be quite specialist in doing that, so that means impact on the roads underneath, etc. So there's challenges whether we keep them open or whether we shut them. If it can only carry less than 7.5 tons, you can't get a fire engine down here, you can't get buses, etc. So that's going to really push it towards the different options that we've got.
It's getting on, but it's still here. And as I said earlier, this is not a binary choice. Potentially, there is an element of does it stay, does it go? But there are also life cycle costings and other elements that need to be taken into account. And we would like there to be potentially a third option. Which is it stays and it becomes something else.
I think there are a whole load of possibilities really, and I think I think what's really important here beyond the project is what happens in this part of the city in terms of, so this wasn't just about purely a vanity project of let's do an elevated park. A big part of this and the events that we ran, so our kind of chief exec Kate Stewart has closed the flyover on 7 occasions, running really exciting cultural events. There are exciting possibilities whether this structure stays or goes. Clearly it would be great if it could stay because it's provides like something really exciting and ready-made, but I think there's, as Mark has already kind of alluded to, this isn't purely a binary choice. I think what this is doing is just kind of reawakening really positive discussions actually.
We've heard today that the investigations have been going well. They're actually almost complete now. The next phase is for the council to get the results of these investigations. We think that will be December, January time. They're then got to look at what happens next to the flyover. Now, Mayor Joe Anderson has already said that he thinks that the flyover will probably have to come down. That's one of the options on the table, as are weight restrictions. And then, of course, the council has to take into account how it would come down if it came down and what happens to all the roads around it. There's still a lot of work to be done on this, and we'll be keeping a close eye on this story.